All right, we are going to do a drug testing false positive, false negative problem here. And the first thing we have to do is fill in our table. So suppose a company has 20,000 employees and they decide to require drug tests for all employees. For the purposes of this example, suppose there are 500 employees actually using illegal drugs. And this drug test has a 95% accuracy rate. So we now have all the information we need to fill this in. Okay, so think about this. We know that 500 people are using drugs. So using drugs, total 500. And if 500 are using drugs, well, if I have 20,000 total and 500 are using drugs, that means 19,500 are not using drugs, right? That's kind of just simple subtraction. Okay, now, when I think about the 95% accuracy rate, okay, let's pretend that you are a heroin addict. You are shooting up every day. Do you shoot up heroin? I don't. You're shooting up every day, right? Between your toes so you don't leave marks, right? I've watched CS, Crime Scene Investigation. I know what's going on. Okay, so you're using drugs. If you get called in, you're going to expect to test positive, right? Because you've been shooting up. So this is where the 95% times 500 comes in, because it's what you expect to happen. So if I take 95% accuracy rate times 500, 475 of my druggies are going to test positive. And you're like, but, and exactly. That means out of my 500, if I subtract the 475, that means 25 are going to test negative. 25 heroin addicts are going to walk free on the streets. Okay, now let's go to the other way. If you are not using drugs, you expect to test negative, right? You're clean. You've been drinking water and eating salads and not shooting up heroin between your toes. You expect to test negative. So this is where the 95% times whatever goes in. Okay, so I'm going to take 95% times my 19,500, and 18,525 people are going to test negative. And again, you're going, but exactly. If I had 19,500 and 18,525 of them tested negative, that means 975 of them will test positive. So 975 clean, good working people, well, they're clean, that doesn't mean they're good working, clean from drugs are going to test positive for drugs in this drug test. Now, make sure that you total them up. I've got 1,450 total positive tests and 18,550 negative tests. These two numbers added together should give me 20,000 in this case. They do. Okay, so let's answer some questions about this table. If someone tests positive, so the if, that puts me here, my denominator is 1450. What is the probability the person is not taking drugs? Here's the nots. So 975. I end up with 0.67. So if somebody's testing positive, you've got a 67% chance of them actually being clean, right? And if I'm clean, or even if I'm a druggie but I know this, I might demand a retest because I want to prove that I'm clean. This could really hurt my reputation if somebody thinks I'm a druggie when I'm not. Okay, number two. If someone tests negative, here's my negatives. That means my total is 18,550. What's probably the test is wrong and the person is a big old druggie? Well, 25 out of 18,550 is 0.0013. Way less than a 1% chance, because that's 0.13%. If someone is taking drugs, so that's my using drugs, my total is 500. What's the likelihood the test result will be positive? Well, 0.95. We know that. That's called the accuracy rate. And last but not least, which error is worse, false positive or false negative? And this is a complete and total opinion, and it might depend on the company's policies. A false positive is totally going to hurt your reputation. People are going to think you're a druggie. But if your company has a no tolerance policy, if you test positive for once and you're gone, you could lose your job even though you did nothing wrong. And I tell you right now, I'd be fighting that in court, right? But it could hurt your reputation. Now, a false negative means people test negative, but they're actually druggies. If you've got somebody who's shooting up heroin in the bathroom and they're high all the time and they're running a forklift or a crane right? They could kill people. So false negative, I think, could be very, very troublesome. But really, it's probably going to depend on the company and what you're doing. I mean, if you're sitting at a desk punching keys and you're high, you're not going to hurt anybody. You might screw up some data and jack up the report, but you're not going to kill anybody, hopefully. So it kind of depends on where you're at, what you're doing, of which one is worth. And it might depend on who are you? Are you the druggie or not? Right? So that kind of also depends on things. So it's an opinion answer.